Hey guys, it's that time of the month. We're gonna have our usual update of the tier list. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you didn't already, and let's get into it. Okay, as I always start this kind of video, remember this is based on my experience in the game. I've been Challenger from the first time when we had Challenger League available in Divine Tournament. I finished all the stages, I finished Endless Tower, I'm about to finish most of the Elemental Tower. I'm around floor 900, 950 for the Elemental Towers, and if you didn't know, the highest floor available right now is 1000 for that, so almost there. And plus the usual stuff, you know, like killed all the Xeno and finish all the dungeon, obviously the realm, etc, etc. So that tier list is going to be based on my experience, of course. As I always say, if you have Dracula plus 30, Dracula for you is going to be A tier or S tier, whatever, because it's based on your experience. Mine is based on mine. My Dracula is weak, so it's not higher rank. Spoiler. And yeah, let's start from the bottom. C tier. Let's see, this one, in this video, I'm also going to include how useful heroes are in God's Trial, so I'm going to update everything based also on that. I reached endless grade difficulty, not endless grade, endless difficulty for everything except the one where they ask you to use Assassin. I don't have any good and strong Assassin, so I'm stuck at Abyss 3 there. It's not very fun, but it is what it is. All these dark and light units are gonna stay here. Also Mara and Chloe and Fiona. I didn't really get to see them shining into anything new recently, so unfortunately still C tier. Kill is actually very interesting for Munin, the second boss of the God's Trial in the rotation that starts with Loki. And for this reason, you can see the video I made about that, and she's quite useful in the front line. I saw people that already have kill at plus 26, 28, 30, and she also deal a lot of damage. For me, it's not really about the damage, but mostly because she can tank quite well in endless difficulty. So for that reason alone, I'm gonna move her at B tier. So she managed to get out of C tier for me. Also really like her design, so I'm quite happy that she's managed to shine a little bit. Then we have Lina, Suri. I think they're gonna stay here. I didn't really have a chance to use them. I did try Suri for Loki. She's not bad, but at the same time, she's not good enough, in my opinion, to change the tier. Again, mine is only like, what, 23, rank 23 plus 23, so it's not plus 30. Maybe a plus 30, she's gonna be more useful, she's gonna be stronger, but it is what it is for now. She stay in C tier, unfortunately. Artemis, I think I'm gonna move Artemis to B tier, then we're gonna get stuff in order. For now, I'm just moving them up. And she's in B tier not for God's Trial, but because of Divine Tournament. I start to use Artemis a little bit more in Divine Tournament. I also saw a lot of people start to use her more in Divine Tournament, and she's performing quite well. It's not a game changer, but she's a nice addition to some team, and I think she's worth to make her in B tier. She's doing a good job. I'm sure that when I make her plus 30 one day in a long time, she's gonna be quite a good unit. So I'm gonna put some trust into Artemis, and she's gonna go up to B tier. Then we have Luna. I'm currently using Luna in one of my team for Divine Tournament, but still even then is that just for some CC, and I don't feel like moving her up to B tier. Victoria is actually quite nice in Divine Tournament. I'm using her more and more, so I'm gonna say that she's gonna move up to B tier for me. I feel like she's quite an interesting character. Again, I think I'm getting closer to have everybody to tier 3, so plus 26, and I'm quite sure Victoria is gonna be very, very interesting when she's right tier 3, and also plus 30. She's gonna be a very fun character to make team around because of her skill and her talent. Then we have Alina. She's gonna stay in C tier, unfortunately. Taro. I'm actually using both Taro and Nora. I also tried Nora in God's Trial against that boss that I cannot pronounce the name, and she like petrify all the mage continuously. But still, Nora, even there, I don't feel like moving her up to B tier. I'm gonna wait until she's plus 30. I hope then it's gonna be more useful, but for now, it's just not my thing. And Taro, I'm actually using her in Divine Tournament. I don't remember if I actually took her out from my team yesterday, but I was using her for Divine Tournament, and even then, I don't dislike how she works. Like, she's not a bad hero, but still, I think she's C tier. It's not performing well enough for me to move her up to B tier. Now, B tier, we already saw, and the order is more or less still the same for the C tier. Now, we already talked about this stream. Let's go to Dracula. I think Dracula, this is gonna be like a controversial opinion, is still a B tier. I saw a bunch of people with plus 30 Dracula, and I'm sure it's gonna be useful for that Ghost Trial with the Assassin. But even then, I don't feel like it's worth investing into Dracula. There are so many better units that you want to invest if you want to go for like some dark or light unit. I don't think Dracula is nowhere near a priority for me. And even in the Divine Tournament, I saw a bunch of people with plus 30 Dracula in Challenger in the top 10, top 20. There's only one player that has a very good Dracula team. And even then, it's not because of Dracula, but because of literally the other hero that he has in the team supporting him. So I don't really feel like moving Dracula to A tier or anything else. I'm sorry if you like him. I'm sure maybe for you it's a better experience, but man, it's just, for me, is not very impressive as a unit. Even if when you read the talent, it looks very cool, it's just not performing that well for me, at least. And also the people that use it against me. Jormungand, I'm actually surprised by Jormungand. I see more and more people with plus 30 Jormungand. Of course, I cannot speak by my experience because mine is only plus 14, but from what I see, she's doing very well in God's Trial, and she's also doing quite good at plus 30 in Divine Tournament. And from what I saw, I think it's worth to move her up to A tier, a low A tier. I'm not sure yet if this is the correct one because, again, I couldn't try myself. I only speak from what I saw from other people and what other people told me. But I think is a quite good hero, especially now that we have got Trial, and it shouldn't be bad as a choice to make her A tier. Then we have Peerless. Again, my Peerless, unfortunately, is not, I cannot use her. She's amazing in PvP against me, like when people use plus 30 Peerless in Divine Tournament. I feel like it's a little bit more complex than people think, and a lot of people don't use her correctly in Divine Tournament. So I'm gonna leave her B tier. I'm sure it's gonna be the next character I'm gonna upgrade to plus 30. So maybe next month, if hopefully I finish upgrading her, she's gonna be in a totally different position for sure. For now, still B tier because I don't see many people using her properly in Divine Tournament. I also think she's going to be super useful for Elemental Tower, and I really need her to finish them. And obviously she's also going to help doing more damage to the boss in God's Trial. So for sure it's going to move at least A tier in the next video, or maybe even S, I don't know, I have to try. But for now I'm going to leave her here. Brienne, I actually made Brienne plus 30. I don't know if I ever said to anyone that I was upgrading this hero, but I did, and she's finished. And I would say she's in A tier for me now. She's not S tier. Like, you don't really need Brienne to finish anything in the game. You don't need her for God's Trial to reach endless difficulty. You don't need her to finish stage, to finish tower. You don't need her, like, it's not mandatory for PvP, like solo or anything else. So she cannot be a S tier, but she's very tanky. She helps a lot in very different way your team. And I think overall is a very, very solid hero and a solid A tier. I wouldn't say it's a priority. If you're not sure what to do, what to invest into after Sol and Sophia, I wouldn't advise to go for Brienne like I did. I would say maybe I'm gonna make a separate video about that, but I would say there are better options. So it's still A tier for me. Even then, it's still a solid A tier. Not the best option probably, but still a very, very good hero and it's quite useful. And then let's see. Eddie, I saw a bunch of people using Eddie in Divine Tournament. I don't know if people also using him in God's Trial. I didn't see anybody using him in God's Trial. I still think he's a B tier. I didn't see any huge change from the last time in the last month. Leonardo is actually very good. I really like him in God's Trial. I think he's gonna move up. He's still B tier. I don't feel like putting him into A tier because I don't use him anywhere else except God Trial, but he's very good. Like, I really like him in God's Trial because I'm not strong enough to like tank the damage in endless difficulty, and Leonardo is saving my life so much. So I think he's a very solid one, and he deserves to gain a little bit of position now that we have God Trial. Skadi, on the opposite, I feel like I'm using her less and less, and it's not that great for God's Trial, so I think she's gonna stay. Maybe, I actually think I'm gonna move this one here. This one, it's more or less the same, yeah, I think this is actually pretty accurate for what it feels like to me right now. Arthur is another one that I really like. I'm very happy about his performance in God's Trial. So maybe, should I move him to A tier? He's definitely at the top of B tier. Should I move him to A tier? No, not yet. My Arthur is not plus 30, so I don't feel like he's A tier yet, but he's so useful in God's Trial. Like, if you don't know, his taunt work on the boss of God's Trial, and it also work on Xeno, for example. Now, I never use him for Xeno because I didn't need to, but to tank some skill or like some attack in God's Trial, Arthur is very, very good. And it's like, I think in 2 out of 4 of my team, or maybe 3 out of 4, I have Arthur in my front line, and I'm very happy about his performance. He's very, very good, and he's also very, very good, as you probably already know, in PvP. So I think the more like my Arthur is gonna rank up, the more I'm gonna like him, and he's gonna be useful. And so he might actually move up to A tier, which makes me very happy because he's a cool hero and a cool character. And then we have Ilya. Actually, Ilya didn't really do anything particular in God's Trial, and even if she's quite strong overall, not many people use her on high level of Divine Tournament, so I think she's gonna move here. Leonardo, we already talked about him. Oh, I forgot Lydia. Lydia is still kinda in the same position, I think. Yeah, Lydia is good here. It's still B tier. It's quite useful for many different things, but it's not that much of an improvement. I don't use her in God's Trial, so she's gonna stay here. And then we have Devin. Of course, Devin is super good. The only problem and the only reason that for me is in B tier, it's because I don't have mine tier 3. I'm 100% sure that when mine becomes tier 3 or plus 30, I'm going to move him up to A tier because I saw the damage it does at plus 30 and it's ridiculous. And I think he's a very, very good unit, very, very strong character. Let's move him here. Tira lost a little bit. I know that some people use her for God's Trial, but mine is too weak. It's too weak to stay in endless difficulty in Ghost Trial. She gets literally one shot by everything. If the boss breathes 1 second, she's gonna die and get one shot. So unfortunately, unless she gets saved by solo shallow grave, it's not a good idea for me to use her. So she lost a little bit of point here, but nothing special. Like she's super good for stage push. I probably wouldn't be able to finish like stage 6000 without her in my team for 6 mob team. Is the one, like I already showed the team that I use for that in my previous video about stage 6000. So if you're curious about Tira and how I use her, you can watch that video and I'm gonna explain everything there. But because of that, she's gonna stay in B tier. Not gonna move up, but she's a solid B tier unit, especially considering she's not SSR but only SR hero. Then we already talked about them, so let's go up to A tier. Again, Brienne and Jormungand, we already talked about that. Desire, I feel like now that my Brienne is plus 30, she's more useful obviously than Desire. Is she more useful than Ines? I think she's more useful than Ines, more than Lilith. I would say here is not a bad position for Brienne right now. Desire, I'm not using him in God's Trial right now because mine is not strong enough to be there. I know I think also is a very good unit overall. I would like to try him for God's Trial, but it's just not, it cannot survive long enough for me. It's quite useful in many different modes, but I feel like recently it's kind of losing point. I don't want to move him back to B tier. Oops. But I think he's gonna be at the end of A tier. Maybe next month he could get the rank to B tier. Not because he's not good anymore, but just because there are other units getting better than him. Like, is just I'm not upgrading him, so he's losing value compared to other units. And even in Divine Tournament and other mode, I don't really see many people with a upgrade with a Desire where they invested Universal Shard, so he lost a little bit of point. Gotta be honest here. Ines, I use her a little bit less, so I feel like she also lost point, but this is not that bad of a position. Yeah, I think she's gonna stay here at the end of A tier. She might also go back to B tier if I keep not using her, but she was quite useful for stage cleaning in the middle part of the game, and I also use her in Divine Tournament. She's a quite solid choice for a priest, like an alternative priest. It's not for the main team, but for the second team she's quite good. Lilith, I think Lilith is still A tier. I kind of regret not upgrading Lilith to plus 30 because I think she's super useful. Maybe she's more useful than Brienne, but mine is behind Brienne for the simple fact that I didn't invest into Lilith. She's still plus 14, so I cannot put her above Brienne right now. But she probably is, like, we gotta be honest, she probably is better than Brienne. Even if I invest into Brienne, I have to be honest with you. And then Alice was super important to finish my stages, like the 6000 stage in the main game, and I'm also using her for Elemental Tower, so definitely she's A tier for me. It's ridiculous that SR unit, even at plus like what, minus 13 or 12, no 13 now I think, is still so useful. Like I really like this hero, and for this reason alone, like without her it would be so much more difficult for me to finish the stages, so she's gonna be A tier. Then we have Kyle. Kyle is quite useful. He's still like very useful, and I also use him for some team in God's Trial, even if it's more difficult to use Kyle in a 10 hero team compared to a like a normal team of 6. Still, I think he's a very solid hero, and it's very good A tier. I think I'm actually gonna move him up here. It's better than Roman in my opinion right now. Roman, also very solid choice. He's very good. Nothing bad to say about Roman. It's like it was super useful to finish stage, and is also very useful overall. I tried to use him in God's Trial. Again, mine is not strong enough to survive properly, so I had to change and make like more defensive team. But I think once you are strong enough to resist like the attack of the boss in endless mode, when like all your team is plus 30, Roman is gonna come back in the team and is gonna have a very good performance. He's like quite useful hero. It's very good. And then we have Iset, one of my favorite hero in the game, still A tier, absolutely. I'm quite happy that she got the skin, but I couldn't buy it because they didn't put the discount and I was quite mad about it. And so yeah, it's still A tier, very good. I'm actually put mine in the wish list. I'm gonna try to make her plus 30 as soon as possible. And it's very amazing for every mod in the game. I love Iset, it's amazing. Maeve, same as Iset, she's amazing, and she was also, the two of them, they were like super important to finish stage. Again, I already made a video about that, but without Maeve and Iset, I would never finish stage in this game. So Maeve is amazing, like you really have no reason not to use her. And yeah, she's just any mod with a boss with a lot of HP, you want to use Maeve. She's also very good in Divine Tournament. I actually use her in my second main team with Flora, and it's like very amazing performance. Put her in my wish list. I want to make her plus 30 as soon as possible. Galadriel, very solid hero, still A tier, and it was like the one that saved me and managed to help me finish Endless Tower. So she's gonna stay definitely into the top position of A tier for me. Maybe, I would say maybe overall, Maybe is a little bit better than Galadriel. She's kind of like at the same point as Izzet, even if I prefer Izzet just for personal preference. But she's gonna stay here in this position. I think that's quite good. And then Hadran. Hadran is still my favorite like hero from the one that I use for to finish the stage. Very very good. I also use her in Divine Tournament. She's super strong in my opinion. I cannot wait to make her plus 30, so I put her in my wish list. And I really hope to see her plus 30 as soon as possible because I think she's gonna be so good and so useful in so many different modes. Then for the S tier, we're still at the same point as before. Lilian, nothing changed about this one. She's super good in God's Trial. I put her into literally everything, like no question asked. Evelyn, amazing. She's super good against the last boss of God's Trial, the one that you need to stun. She always do a very good job when it comes to CC, so definitely solid choice. Delia, I think. Okay, I kind of want to move up Delia because for God's Trial, she's like a goddess. Like she's so good, and the damage is crazy. Like the damage she does outshine Flora and Sophia so much. At least for me, she's so freaking good. But the thing is, I put Flora. Okay, let's make some change. I think solo is more important now than Flora. I think okay, I cannot move Delia just because of God's Trial. Flora is still like the main hero for so many things that I just feel bad. It's like it's a lie. If I move Delia above Flora, it's kind of like a lie. Flora is still like the best hero for stage progress, endless tower, pretty much everything. Super good also in Divine Tournament for now, I would say, because I don't think she's that good of an option for PvP, as I said many times before. But for now, she's also very solid for PvP. And so yeah, it would be a lie just because she performed a little bit less good than Delia in God's Trial. I cannot betray Flora like that. She's still above Delia, even if Delia surprised me so much in God's Trial. Like I did not expect Delia to be so strong. Then we have solo. Of course, I got many comments, and I also see many people asking this on Discord. Can you progress in the game without solo? I don't think it's possible. Just because, as I mentioned in those comments, solo does something that only solo can do. Like the only way that you can have your character survive like a fatal hit is to have Shallow Grave. There is no other hero that can do a buff like that. There is no slime that can do a buff like that. There is nothing like no equipment, no relic that can do something like that. So until we have an alternative, solo is mandatory. I know some people don't like it. I met a guy that only want to use female hero in the game. That's cool, but man, solo is that strong, is that useful. Like, can you progress in the game without solo? Yes, up to a certain point. But if you want to finish Endless Tower, you want to finish stage, you want to be competitive in Standard Arena to get the Reaper at rank 1, you want to be competitive in Challenger and get like in a top 10 position, you need solo. Like, there's no way around. You need solo. That's it. I'm sorry for that, but it's super important. And then we have Sophia. Sophia, I still think, is the most overpowered hero in the game. Even if, again, she gets outshined a little bit by Delia in God's Trial, everything. And also for stage progression, Flora is better. Still, Sophia is so ridiculous strong for like almost everything in the game. And it's just ridiculous. For progression, I think there is no better hero and no better combination of Sophia and Solo. Like, even if she gets outshined in some mode by other hero, she's still the best hero in the game, in my opinion. So that's it for this video. Let me know if you disagree about something in the comment. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye. Have a good day, guys.